Hello and welcome here. Dakota Johnson offered a refreshingly candid reflection on Madam Web, explaining why she believes the most recent Marvel film from Sony failed and the reasons for superhero fatigue. She is correct on both points. Dakota Johnson has already said that there was a significant rewriting of Madam Web's screenplay, which may indicate that there was turbulence behind the scenes. Although this doesn't always mean that a film is bad, such remarks in addition to more current information about the film's development may suggest that these modifications contributed to the issue. The interference of outside influences and how it affects the finished product is a topic that has been covered previously in relation to superhero movies, and Dakota Johnson's remarks on Madam Web touch on it. Based on a number of prior superhero film releases, Johnson's analysis of how these problems may impact the genre's capacity to engage viewers has merit. It also touches on a problem that the genre will need to address moving ahead in order to secure its ongoing success. Dakota Johnson lamented that decisions made by film companies that are more concerned with following a formula than with the artistic merit of their films sometimes undermine the intentions of the creative team behind the picture. In a recent interview with Bustle, she said, "Decisions are being made by committees, and art does not do well when it's made by committee. Films are made by a filmmaker and a team of artists around them. You cannot make art based on numbers and algorithms. My feeling has been for a long time that audiences are extremely smart, and executives have started to believe that they're not. Audiences will always be able to sniff out BS." Madam Web appears to find Johnson's remarks concerning executives' lack of faith in viewers especially pertinent. The movie's tendency to talk down to viewers, Cassie Webb frequently explains the narrative to people directly, even her cat, is one of its main criticisms. Johnson continued by expressing her belief that some parties trying to exert influence over a movie's development are also contributing factors to the issue. She said, "Too many people controlling a movie is a big F problem. It's also about control and feeling powerful, and that's not what art is." Having previously talked about how power battles over creative decisions in the 50 Shades series between the movie's production and the original author damaged the movie, Dakota Johnson does have some experience with how fights over creative control may negatively affect a movie. Like Madam Web, reviewers gave 50 Shades of Grey poor reviews. Although studios should not always take a chance on creative teams, Dakota Johnson makes a valid argument. For instance, Chloe Zhao, the director of Eternals, stated emphatically that she maintained creative control over the film, despite the fact that it was not well received by critics and did not end up being the enormous hit that Marvel had hoped for. However, other endeavors that might have seemed riskier, like Guardians of the Galaxy, have turned out to be enormous triumphs. Superhero films may have looked very different if Marvel had not believed that a film about minor characters like Rocket Raccoon, directed by a man making his first MCU movie, could succeed. Other superhero movies have attempted, with differing degrees of success, to imitate elements of the film, including as the well-chosen music and flamboyant aesthetic. Madam Web's risks were met with criticism, but they also showed some potential. The movie's intriguing notion revolves around a psychological thriller featuring a Marvel character as a horror monster. Madam Web demonstrates how this concept may have worked in the few sequences in the movie when it truly attempts to accomplish this, such as the suspenseful moment on the train. Nevertheless, the film is hampered by recurrent allusions to Spider-Man, which have given rise to accusations that these allusions were included in subsequent screenplay revisions. A few people are worried that the MCU may be shifting away from riskier ventures, at least in cinemas, based on remarks made recently by Disney CEO Bob Iger. Marvel's next TV series, though, may still be a space for more daring artistic choices. For instance, Ryan Coogler, the filmmaker of Black Panther, is signed as an executive producer for Eyes of Wakanda. Having directed 2 hugely popular films for Marvel, Coogler should have some creative control over the series. From the DCU's perspective, things appear even more promising. Now that he is a CEO at DC, James Gunn's Superman will probably stay fairly true to his original creative idea. Creator-driven Elseworlds ventures are also permitted by DC, such as the planned Superman project by J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates. A project helmed by Logan's James Mangold will feature Swamp Thing, one of the strangest creatures that DC is adopting. Johnson's remarks should inspire optimism for both brands' bright futures and studios take action to prevent the kind of interference that hindered Madam Web's creative development. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you soon.